We don't want people to participate in the buyback program. We want it to be a failure, and it's proving to be a failure already. You have to first register, and then you find out if you're going to get paid for it. And if they have no funds for your particular rifle, well, it becomes a confiscation because now you've signed the registry and they know you have your rifle. I mean, you have to turn it in. So we're definitely saying do not participate in the buyback part of this program, though, because it's not a legal obligation. It's voluntary, like they keep saying. So we really hope that people are not going to participate in it.
This fall, I announced that we will strengthen gun laws and ban the type of weapons used at École Polytechnique.
Today, we're making good on our commitments to rid our communities of assault-style firearms. These are firearms designed for war, for killing people. They have no place in our communities. The compensation program is voluntary, but compliance with the law is not. If you do not, you will be non-compliant with the law and could face criminal liability and possibly lose your firearms license.
Aujourd'hui, on vide la piscine. Plus il y a d'armes en circulation, plus elles sont dangereuses, et puis on voit les conséquences de ça chez nos voisins du Sud.
Parce que vous allez vous demander pourquoi le Québec est la première province à embarquer, puis je vois déjà des signes de tête. J'ai pris votre première question.
Hello everyone, this is Alexa Lavoie for Rebel News. The federal government is accelerating its controversial plan to remove thousands of firearms from the hands of law-abiding Canadians. Since January 2026, the compensation program for so-called assault-style firearms has been rolled out nationwide. Owners have until March 31st, 2026 to declare their prohibited firearms and hope for compensation, often considered insufficient by owners. But be aware, the program is voluntary when it comes to compensation, not when it comes to the law. The current amnesty, which protects legal owners from criminal prosecution, expires on October 30, 2026. After that date, anyone who keeps one of these firearms, even if it was legally acquired before the bans of 2020, 2024, and 2025, could face serious charges for illegal possession of a prohibited weapon. This tightening of regulations is part of a long series of restrictions, largely inspired in Quebec by the tragedies at Polytechnique School in 1989 and the Quebec City Mosque in 2017. Yet, criminals, for their part, are not turning in their illegal weapons. Today, tens of thousands of sport shooters, hunters, and legitimate collectors see their rights under threats. To break down this issue and hear from those on the ground, we are joined by Jason Warren, Quebec Director for the Canadian Coalition for Firearm Rights.
I urge you to declare as early as you can, because submitting a declaration does not guarantee compensation. Declarations will be processed on a first-come, first-served basis. At the end of the declaration period in March, owners will receive confirmation of their participation and instructions on what to do next.
Je suis très encouragée aujourd'hui. C'est une excellente nouvelle. J'étais très heureuse quand on a lancé le projet pilote en Nouvelle-Écosse. Je suis contente qu'on ait appris de ce projet-là et je suis contente aujourd'hui qu'on le lance rapidement pour qu'au mois d'octobre, on puisse dire mission accomplie. Ces armes-là ne seront plus dans nos rues.
Pour nous, c'est important que ce programme-là soit négocié. On ne pouvait pas, comme nation, se faire imposer un programme ici au Québec, qui était pour commencer de toute façon. Alors, on l'a bien négocié ensemble, Gary. Je te remercie. Il y a des conditions qui étaient importantes pour nous. Premièrement, c'est la Sûreté du Québec qui va être en charge du programme ici au Québec. Les armes vont être détruites au Québec.
So I don't really know how they plan to get this all done in that period of time, but with the way they've framed the buyback now that they call it a voluntary buyback, it doesn't seem like they really even plan on picking up all of the guns, especially not compensating for them, because they don't have the funds to compensate for all of the firearms on the market in circulation. So yeah, I don't really understand how they think that it's going to be done by March, but the amnesty period is October, end of October. We have until October to keep our guns legally, and once October passes, anybody who decides to keep them will be a criminal. I mean, it's pretty simple. Anyone keeping them past October will be a criminal. I know a lot of people are saying that they're not going to give up their guns. We at the CCFR don't recommend that because, hey, I mean, nobody wants to be a criminal. It's like, even if we don't agree with it. But as far as the buyback program goes, we suggest that people hold on to their guns, don't participate in the buyback program. That's our stance on that. We don't want people to participate in the buyback program. We want it to be a failure, and it's proving to be a failure already. The Cape Breton pilot project was clearly a failure. They were saying they wanted to pick up around 200 rifles, even though we know there was probably more like 2,000 rifles in that small region, and they only managed to pick up 25. So that's quite a failure, in my opinion. It's a huge failure.
What do you think will happen? Do you think the Liberal will have no choice to backtrack, to actually change maybe the program? Or do you think they will go ahead? What do you think will happen?
Well, we're getting to know the Liberals, right? So I think they're going to go forward with it. I don't really think they're going to backtrack on it. Like I said earlier, I don't think they plan on it really being a success, especially with the fact that the money that they have allocated for the program is capped. So they're not going beyond that amount. So they really have no plan of paying for all the rifles, which when you think about it is totally discouraging for the owners. I mean, why would somebody want to participate in a buyback program if they know they're likely not going to get paid? And there's also the fact that they want us to register the rifles first, right? You have to first register, and then you find out if you're going to get paid for it. And if they have no funds for your particular rifle, well, it becomes a confiscation because now you've signed the registry and they know you have your rifle. I mean, you have to turn it in. So it's scandalous. When the Trudeau Liberals put this program out, it was supposed to be a buyback program. They were talking about buying every single rifle that they prohibited in Canada, which nobody can say for sure, but it's somewhere around 2 million rifles. And with the amount of money that they have allocated for this program, they don't have enough money to buy maybe 1%, something like 1% of the rifles in circulation. So it's scandalous.
Do you believe that there is maybe an option to maybe go forward legally, because not only they are confiscating something that is your property, but they are letting illegal guns circulating in Canada?
Exactly. That's totally true. I mean, when you think about it, if you look at their laws, let's look at them as if they're a code. So you have the law C-21, which includes the buyback program, which restricts people like myself who are not criminals. I mean, it's very well known. People like myself are not the criminals. We're responsible for less than 1% of homicides in Canada. My criminal record is verified every 24 hours. So I can't be a criminal. If I commit a crime tonight, tomorrow somebody's coming to confiscate my rifles because there's this continuous eligibility program that scans our files every day. We're literally the safest demographic of Canadians. We literally cannot be criminals. And as far as going forward with maybe another option, I mean, the best option would be to scrap it completely. Scrap it completely. Let us keep our rifles. They've never been a problem. And it's not that I don't understand about Polytechnic shooting and about the mosque shooting. It's not that I feel that as much as anybody else. But it doesn't make sense to attack 1% of a problem, especially the amount of money that they're wasting and that they have wasted over the last 30 years, billions of dollars that could have easily been spent in meaningful ways that could actually reduce homicides. But no, they continuously put all this money into attacking people like myself. And we know it's not going to make a difference. And it seems like the police across the country more and more, they're coming out of the woodwork saying, we're not going to participate. We're not going to participate. I think there's only 2 provinces left that haven't pronounced their opinion on it. All of the other provinces and territories have refused to participate. They want nothing to do with it. The OPP wants nothing to do with it. Toronto Police Force wants nothing to do with it. Police forces across the country are coming out one after another saying, we're not going to participate in this. We need to keep our money for meaningful ways of actually reducing homicides.
There is Nathalie Provost, that she's the new Secretary State of Nature. I don't know even like what that means. She said recently that she's really happy that we will remove those assault-style rifle from circulation in Canada. She also already stated that the problem is not with the illegal, but the legal gun owners. As someone who actually has been a victim of a mass shooting, you will expect that she will actually concentrate her effort to remove the illegal guns from circulating inside Canada, because you cannot track who is actually the owner of those guns, where they are coming from.
Yeah.
But why? What do you make of the fact that she seems like not interested into cracking down on illegal guns?
To be really honest, and I don't like talking about them just because of the fact that they were victims. But at the same time, sometimes you have to speak your piece, right? You have to say your mind. I can't understand why they put zero attention on 99% of the problem. They've been focusing 100% of their energy on licensed gun owners ever since the beginning, and I can't quite figure out why that is. I can't figure that out. And you'd think that the answer would be easy, but I can't figure it out. If people truly care about saving lives, you'd think they would work on the homicide problem that we actually do have. And over the last 30 years, they've been putting all of their attention on licensed gun owners and literally zero attention on 99% of the problem. And crime and violence and shootings have just gone up and up and up and up. It's been skyrocketing. So I can't answer your question. I can't tell you why they're working that way, why they don't pay attention to.
Do you believe that is a voter strategy? Because we saw it. Mainly all the regulation is come from Quebec. Nathalie Provost is from Quebec.
Yeah.
Do you believe that it's mainly electoral strategy?
I've always thought it was 100% political. And honestly, I don't think it's working anymore. I think people are waking up slowly to the fact that we're not the problem. I think I think you're absolutely right. I think it has all to do with votes, has to do with the electoral base in Quebec. It seems like that's the only logical answer. I mean, the government's been using Nathalie for 30 years. She's their front woman, right? She's always there beside them.
She's in all media. She's always the one inviting to talk, to be an expert, or to talk about what happened, in order to kind of demonize the legal, law-abiding citizen who own guns. But why do you think Quebecers are so compliant with those laws, and why they seem to ask for more?
Yeah.
And don't realize that this is an infringement of the rights of the citizen?
I think this has a lot to do with the bigger cities. When you're out of the cities, people tend to have more of a conservative attitude. I mean, there's so many hunters in Quebec and so many sport shooters. I think it has a lot to do with the bigger cities, Montreal especially. Montreal, in a way, is a different place than what I call Quebec, because I'm a country boy, right? So when I go to Montreal, I don't feel like I'm really in Quebec. I feel like I'm in it's a metropole. It's a huge city. I don't feel like I'm in Quebec there. And people in the city are out of touch with the the heritage of people like myself who are from the country. They have no idea what life could be like for me in the country on my mountain with my chickens and my, you know.
Would you also say that the media have a part of like carrying the problem? Because in all media, there were no media trying to defend the rights of gun owners.
Definitely.
Mainly, it's always the same rhetoric that guns should be banned, guns are dangerous, guns are actually created to kill.
Yep.
So...
Oh, you're absolutely right. It has 100% to do with the media. The media is always tied to the government. They're tied to the people that they get their funding from, right? So, I mean, you can see it if you look back. In times where the government was maybe more favorable to gun owners, the media was also more favorable to gun owners. And the fact is that for the last, 10, 15 years, it's been a liberal government with the same mentality. And the media follows right along with that. So, and personally, I think that we should do like they do in other countries. There are countries where it's not the party in power who decides how much money the media is getting. It's a fixed amount, and it has nothing to do with the party in power. So that makes for a more non-biased media, because the money they're getting it no matter who is in power. So they can go and say what they really feel.
Did you spoke a little bit with some shop owners who are selling guns at this moment, how the business is going and how they apprehend the next step when they will really ban and confiscate most of the guns?
I mean, it's a known fact that, like, let's talk about bullets. Hunters buy maybe 20 bullets a year because they don't need more than that. Sport shooters buy lots of bullets because they might shoot 500 on a weekend. So the shops that are only gun shops, that sell only guns and equipment for guns, those shops are going to have a heck of a hard time staying alive. Other stores like La Tulipe here in Quebec, who is also an outfitter, they sell equipment for hunters, they sell jackets, they sell all kinds of stuff. They will survive. Sale, all these big stores, they will survive. Pro Nature, they will definitely survive. One of my good friends owns a Pro Nature, and he's not worried. But I do speak with other gun shop owners who are strictly gun shop. They don't sell jackets. They don't sell. They're going to have a hard time. They're going to have a real hard time. They're going to have a very, very hard time. And we're seeing it already. Shops are closing down slowly, one after another. And I don't think it's going to be any different here in Quebec. And that's why the 28th, we're having this gathering. We don't call it a manifestation. We call it a gathering because we're going there with love.
Can you explain why you actually extended the invitation to all provinces and to as much people as possible, but not in front of the Ottawa Parliament, but during in front of the National Assembly?
Yeah. Quebec is the only province who's accepted the federal offer to participate. Quebec, what happens in Quebec is going to set the grounds for the rest of the country, like it often does. And that really annoys me because it makes it so the rest of the country don't like us so much. And I'm trying to convince people across the country to stop saying Quebecers, start saying the Quebec government, because Quebecers are great, but the Quebec government is not great. I don't really see a choice that's necessarily better than the other. We don't really have a conservative party that is palatable right now. The Bloc Québécois is definitely not favorable to gun owners. The Parti Québécois is definitely not favorable. I don't really see a better choice, honestly.
This is the mandate I was given by Carney to complete this, right? And this is something that very much a big deal for many of the Quebec electorate that voted for us.
I were to redo this from scratch, right? I would have a very different approach.
The minister said that his gun grab won't work. Why is it that Liberals only tell the truth when they don't think anyone is listening?
How the CCFR reacted when the video leaked of Gary Anandasangari saying that mainly he don't believe on the program at all?
Well, I think the CCFR reacted the same way as everyone did, and I think the general public, people who are not even interested in guns, definitely had I mean, when I heard that for the first time, I was completely shocked. Like, okay, for a few seconds I was thinking, well, maybe tomorrow he's going to say, well, in light of the leaked message of me saying it's not going to work, we're going to stop the program. But no, the day after, it seemed like they hurried up to say, yeah, we're going forward with it and it's starting real soon. Like, they said it themselves. It's not going to work. The police across the country have said it's not going to work. Almost all provinces and territories have quite obviously understood that it's not going to work. They don't want to participate. They don't want to put any money into it. They wouldn't even accept money from the federal government to do it, which is amazing to me. And I'm proud of those provinces for not taking the money because they probably needed it. But we're definitely saying do not participate in the buyback part of this program, though, because it's not a legal obligation. It's voluntary, like they keep saying. So we really hope that people are not going to participate in it, because we think that will have a big impact. That's the best protest in itself, is to not participate in the buyback program, because it's scandalous.
So you have a gathering on February 28th. How people can actually have more information about it? And do you have actually some information to tell us about it?
Yep. It's starting at 10 in the morning. We're not exactly sure of the timeline because we have a very short period of time to organize all this. Basically, we started this just a week ago. So we haven't quite decided on the timeline, but it's going to run through the afternoon. We're going to have speakers. Guy will be there. Aventure Chasse et Pêche will be there. We have different guest speakers who will be talking about the buyback program and all the different laws. And we'll have a kiosk for people who don't know about guns, so they could stop and chat and learn. Education is half the problem. People are not educated on what it is to be a gun owner and what gun culture in Canada is actually like. They compare us to Americans, and Canadian gun culture is not American gun culture. It's completely different. So yeah, that's going to run all day long. We're going to have music too. It's going to be cold, so we want people dancing. And we're sharing the message for peace. We want people to keep their eyes open. We don't want some outside players coming in. We don't want any violence. We want this to be 100% peaceful. We want people hugging each other. We don't want people fighting each other. So we do have a Facebook event that's already grown up to, I think we're getting close to 2,000 people who have responded. And which is really promising, because I don't know if you've ever thrown a party using a Facebook event page, but if you get 100 people saying they're going to come, you end up with 500, so that's positive. Thinking back to the protest that we did, the CCFR did, the Integrity March in Ottawa, we had 5,000 people there. So we're expecting those 5,000 people to come back this year. And with the Quebec gang, with Guy and Aventure Chasse et Pêche and a bunch of other anonymous players, we're expecting between 5,000 and 10,000 people. And it's kind of the last stand, right? So we're expecting that more people than ever are going to come out, because it's really our last chance to protest about this anyways, because once the buyback program is passed, it's over. I would like to say one last thing. I mean, like I said, I personally have some rifles that are prohibited. They're registered, and I will be turning them in. But I know that there's a lot of people saying they're not going to turn them in. So I don't understand how people like Nathalie and the Liberal Party can think this is good for public safety. They've prohibited these rifles. People don't seem like they want to turn them in. So where are they going to go, these rifles? These people had them legally, and they can't sell them anymore. It reminds me of in 1994 when they prohibited certain models of rifle, like the AK-47, for example. Almost none of them got turned in. So where did they go? How is that safer for the public to take something that was legal and legally kept and stored safely and everything done right? How is that good for the public to prohibit things that they don't know where they are, they don't know who has them? I mean, it's like I said, we're trying to get people to cooperate. We don't want people to hold on to illegal rifles, but a lot of people are saying they're going to do it anyways in protest. And I can understand that. Even though it's not my position, I can understand why people would hold on to them in protest. So how do they figure that's making those rifles any safer? In a way, it's making them a little more dangerous because they'll be in someone's closet, and maybe the son of that person or the daughter of that person will want to keep them for sentimental reasons. But how many generations before that newly prohibited rifle, which was never a problem to begin with, ends up in the wrong hands of somebody who has no gun license and who's not a good person and who's...
And how is it like in the interest of public safety when you disarm legal gun owners, and that means that the guns will be removed from circulation, knowing that there is criminals out there with illegal guns who knows that there is no legal guns anymore?
It's so true. And we've seen such a big wave of home invasions and extortion at gunpoint. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. I can't remember the percentage, but I believe it's something like 155% worse than it was before. So, no, it makes no sense. And now you have provinces like Alberta who are preaching castle law. And what I'm seeing with people I know anyway is that Canadians want castle law. Canadians want to be able to defend themselves legally. And they don't want these there's 9 conditions, right, to legally defend yourself in your home. That's just way too complicated. We'd love to see a change on that. And I know that most Canadians, even the most left-wing Canadians, want to have the right to defend themselves in their house. And to do that, you need the tools. You need the tools necessary to do it as well. Mm-hmm. But that's a whole other story, right? That's that's a long ways away. We're not even, though we do believe in self-defense at the CCFR, we don't have time to talk about that these days because we're just trying to hold on to our heritage. I just want to hold on to the gun that my grandmother gave me before she died. So.
Thanks for watching. I hope you appreciate this report. As you know, the federal government have intensified their action to punish the legal, law-abiding gun owners here in Canada. If you agree that we need to stop this government to go even further in those actions, please go and sign our petition at endsofourgun.com. Thanks for watching.